Biggest names in investing is out there sharing some of his secrets to success in a new memoir. Blackstone founder, chairman, and CEO Steve Schwarzman sat down with Yahoo Finance's Julia LaRoche for our series Yahoo Finance Presents. And Julia joins us now to discuss. Julia, how'd it go? What did he say that stood out to you?
We talked about so many different things, Dan, and one of them was whether or not Steve Schwarzman would get a job at Blackstone if he were to apply today. And guys, the answer is no, so take a listen to why.
I'm trying to feel how smart they are, how stable they are, how curious they are. And usually you can do that by just looking into their eyes. And sometimes I'll walk in a room and talk about what I was just doing if it's exciting, and if they recoil with fear because it's a different situation, they probably won't be able to handle things that come at them in an unpredictable way. What you want them to do is hold the table, to be pretty much of an equal, because they are. Mm-hmm. Just because you're senior, all that means is that you've had more experience. Doesn't mean that you're better than anybody that you meet.
Well, I know it's really difficult to get a job at Blackstone. I was reading some of the stats in the book. So I have to ask you this. Do you think if you're applying to a job at Blackstone that they would hire you?
Well, this is what I worry about, because I don't think they would.
Why not? Because
my grades, I wasn't a summa cum laude or magna. I wasn't even a cum laude. So there are different modes of learning. I'm not so bad at some of this stuff, but it's not because I test to a degree that a lot of the people we hire. So I think it's important that we look at different factors here at the firm. The conservative way is always hire the brightest person. I think it's important to be involved in student government of some type, or a club, or something where you demonstrate leadership. I tend to like people who are athletes only because you can take pain. If you're a good athlete, you push yourself to a point where it's not pleasant.
And guys, less than 1% of candidates at Blackstone are accepted. And I'll also point out that he has a bachelor's degree from Yale University, fantastic school. He also has a degree from Harvard Business School, and he certainly made a name for himself on Wall Street. So I find it kind of interesting that he doesn't think that he would be accepted at his own firm.
Did he play a sport? It sounds like that's the big question.
But he was a track star in high school, quit the team at Yale, though, but he did...
Quitter. I'm kidding.
Well, I don't know if it's that. I don't think the coach, and I'm not sure that his college coach was inspiring to him, or the experience there. Whereas in high school, he really talked about the admiration he had for his coach and his teammates. And as someone who did run track in high school, I also had a lot of admiration for my coach, so I could actually relate to that because coaching matters too, and so do those influences.
I'm surprised that he says that he looks in their eyes.
It's interesting.
to determine like stability and
it must be about like reading someone,
right.
Because one of the things that he does is he'll take your resume and he'll quickly scan it, which also, let's point out, that's great that he's actually talking to young candidates who gets to actually talk to the CEO. So he'll find something interesting on your resume and say, oh, Kristen, I didn't know that you were a chess champion in 4th grade, and then he wants to talk to you about it.
Right.
Or if he just got off the phone and it was something kind of interesting, he'll bring it up to see how that person reacts in that conversation, if they recoil or do they engage in it. And I think it's about reading people. That's what he's talking about.
Well, and if you're saying the acceptance rate is less than 1%, clearly that shows that people still want to work on Wall Street, because we always hear these stories about folks want to work at tech firms now, not necessarily Wall Street.
Right. Or then, yeah, and if you look at Blackstone, it's not necessarily your quintessential Wall Street firm because it does so many different lines of business. It's not like going into a bank. So, yeah, that percentage, it's 0.6% of candidates were selected for 86 spots. I think they had more than 14,000 people apply for those spots. So it's really obviously a coveted place to work. And then if you look at the leadership, they do certainly have a lot of young leaders these days. The folks running the real estate business, they're pretty young. John Gray is in his early 40s, and he's the president and COO of the firm. So it looks like there's a lot of opportunity. And Steve Schwarzman, by the way, youngest managing director at the time at Lehman Brothers, was running M&A in his early 30s, started Blackstone when he was 37. So Yeah, if you're a young person and you want to move up, maybe that's the place to go.
Something to shoot for, Scott.
All right, there you go.
Okay, Julia, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Good interview.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.